The first time I saw the boy who wasn't human, he was stealing my leftovers under a bruised Chicago sky. His fingers left trails of stardust on the trash can lid, and his eyes, violet, feral, hungry, glowed like dying stars. I chased him, because that's what you do when magic flickers in the corner of your mundane life. But when I found his mother, coiled in a broken ship with a crystal burning through her chest, I realized some doors, once opened, won't close. Now that crystal's fused in my hand, her voice hums in my bones, and the thing we trapped inside it, it's laughing. Let me tell you why you should never trust a hungry alien or the shadows they bring. Before we start, aliens hide the answer in plain sight. Can you outsmart them? Crack the pinned comments question to prove humanity's brainpower reigns supreme. Watch every second, or let the cosmos laugh at us. I'll be waiting your answer. Oh yes, please, please and please. Hit that card button in the top right corner to subscribe now. And be sure to ring the notification bell so you never miss a single one of our epic daily stories the moment they drop. Let's dive in the story. The rain had just stopped when I took the trash out, the air biting with that late October chill. Downtown Chicago smelled like wet concrete and distant pizza grease, the alley behind my apartment lit by a flickering street lamp. That's when I heard it, a rustle, too sharp for rats. I froze, grip tightening on the bag. Who's there? A shadow darted behind the dumpster. Not a stray cat. Smaller. Human? Look, kid, I said, lowering the bag. If you're lost, I can call. The figure lunged, snatching a half-rotten apple from the trash. Moonlight caught his face as he turned. My breath hitched. His skin wasn't just pale. It gleamed like someone had dusted him with crushed pearls. His eyes glowed violet, wild and scared, like a cornered animal's. For a heartbeat, we stared at each other. Then he bolted. Hey, stop. I sprinted after him, my boots skidding on slick pavement. I'm not gonna hurt you. He zigzagged down the alley, bare feet silent, clutching the apple to his chest. His tattered clothes flapped like moth-eaten flags. Wait, please, I shouted, but he vanished around a corner. I slowed, gasping for air, and noticed the ground. Where he'd stepped, the puddles shimmered, not with oil, but with tiny, swirling specks of light. Stardust? I crouched, fingertips brushing the glow. It felt warm. Okay, Sloan, I muttered standing. Either you're hallucinating, or this is the weirdest Tuesday ever. A whimper echoed from a nearby alley. I crept closer, heart hammering. The kid was hunched behind a stack of moldy boxes, devouring the apple. He froze when he saw me. Hungry, I said softly, kneeling. I've got better food inside. Bibiji, mac and cheese. His eyes narrowed. And no poison. His voice was high, musical, but edged with a guttural accent. Poison? Kid, I'm a cybersecurity analyst, not a mobster. I pulled out my phone. Let me call someone, he hissed, backing away. No, they'll find us. Who's US? A metallic groan cut through the air. The kid's head snapped toward the sound. Mama needs it, he whispered, then bolted again, this time toward a crumbling parking garage. Needs what? I chased him, my lungs burning. The garage loomed, graffiti screaming from its walls. Inside, dim blue light pulsed. The kid slipped through a crack in a boarded-up door. I yanked the wood aside, splinters digging into my palms. This is definitely how horror movies start, I muttered, stepping into the gloom. The garage reeked of rust and burnt plastic. And there, in the center, sat a spaceship. Not the UFO kind. This was sleek, obsidian, shaped like a flattened teardrop. Its surface rippled like liquid, reflecting the flickering light of a dozen frayed wires snaking from a laptop propped nearby. Yerrick, a woman's voice, strained but commanding, came from inside the ship. You brought a human. The kid, Yerrick, cowered as a woman emerged from the ship's hatch. Her silver hair stuck to her gaunt face, her cobalt blue suit clinging to her curves like a second skin, torn at the shoulder. She gripped the doorframe, her violet eyes blazing. "Who are you?" I blurted. She coughed a wet, grinding sound. "You shouldn't be here." "Funny, I was going to say the same to you." I crossed my arms. "Look, your kid's been stealing my trash. And my laptop, apparently." I nodded at the device, its screen flashing with alien symbols. She staggered, catching herself. "The Syrinx, our power core, it's failing. We need energy." "Energy? You mean electricity? Your batteries are weak." But Yarrick thought. She swayed, collapsing against the ship. "Mama." Yarrick rushed to her side. I inched closer. "You're sick." She laughed bitterly. "Sick? No. Starving." Her eyes met mine. "Your world has resources, but we take only what we must. By stealing laptops? By surviving." She winced, clutching her ribs. "Leave, human. This doesn't concern you." I glanced at Yarrick, his bony shoulders shaking. At the woman's cracked lips. At the ship, its lights dimming. "Fine," I said, pulling my keys from my pocket. "But if I'm going to help you survive, you're doing it my way. No more dumpster diving." Jarrick's eyes widened. "You'll help." Against my better judgment, I tossed the woman my protein bar from my jacket. She caught it, blinking. "Eat that. I'll be back with real food and a charger." As I walked away, Yarrick called out, "What's PB&J?" I smirked. "You'll find out, kid." But as I stepped into the night, my smile faded. The garage walls glimmered faintly where I'd touched them, tiny stars trapped in concrete. Whatever these two were running from, it wasn't just hunger. And whatever was coming next, it'd make chasing a space kid look easy. The garage felt colder the second time, the air thick with the hum of malfunctioning tech. I dropped the grocery bag with a thud, pulling out a charger, 3 protein bars, and a Tupperware of last night's spaghetti. Yarrick peered over my shoulder, his violet eyes wide. "What's that?" He poked the charger like it might bite. "Relax, it's not a weapon." I plugged it into the laptop, which was jury-rigged to the ship's open panel. "This'll give your mom a boost." "Maybe." Vera leaned against the ship's hatch, her cobalt suit shimmering under the garage's flickering light. Even half-starved, she looked like she'd stepped off a sci-fi cover. Sharp cheekbones, stormy eyes, a posture that screamed I used to command armies. "Your generosity reeks of pity, human. Call it curiosity." I tossed her a protein bar. "Eat. You look like you'd blow over in a stiff breeze." She caught it, nostrils flaring. "We don't consume, process things." Wow, an alien food snob. I unwrapped my own bar, taking a defiant bite. "Suit yourself. More for me." Yarrick snatched the bar from her hands. "Mama, please." His voice cracked. "You haven't synced with a Syrinx in days." "Synced?" I raised an eyebrow. Vera hesitated, then gestured to the ship's interior. Inside, a hexagonal crystal pulsed faintly in a socket, its light dim and erratic. "The Syrinx is our life force. My people bond with it." But now, she touched her chest, where a jagged scar peeked above her suit's collar. "It's fading, and so am I." Yarrick shoved the protein bar into her hand. "Eat, or I'll tell the human your real title." Vera's eyes narrowed. "Yarrick, real title?" I smirked. "Let me guess. Intergalactic drama queen?" "High Sovereign of Zolan," Yarrick blurted, dodging her swipe. "She ruled 3-star systems before the black hole ate them." I whistled. "So you're basically space royalty, slumming it in a parking garage." "Cool." Vera bit into the bar, grimacing. "This tastes like salted cardboard." "Welcome to Earth," I said, grabbing the laptop. The screen flickered with alien glyphs. "What's this code?" "Looks like a toddler mashed a keyboard." "Our language," Vera snapped. "It's a distress signal." Or it was before your charger overloaded it. "Hey, you're the one stealing my tech." I yanked a wire, and the Syrinx flared suddenly, casting sharp shadows. Vera gasped, clutching her chest. "Mama." Yarrick steadied her as she slumped. "I'm fine," she lied, her breath shallow. "The Syrinx, it's unstable. Each surge burns you from the inside." I finished connecting the dots. "That's why you're dying." Your battery's frying you." She nodded stiffly. "We need a stable energy source. But your world's primitive reactors can't." "Primitive?" "Lady, I once rigged a toaster to mine Bitcoin." I grabbed my phone, pulling up a map. "There's a nuclear lab across town. Heavily guarded, but their grid could juice up your crystal." Vera stared at me. "You'd risk your life?" "Why?" I shrugged. "Let's call it a midlife crisis. Plus, Yarrick here owes me a PB&J. He tilted his head. "Is that a human battle cry?" "Better. It's peanut butter and jelly." I tossed in the Tupperware. "Heat the spaghetti. And don't touch my laptop again." As I turned to leave, Vera grabbed my wrist, her grip surprisingly strong. "Sloan." Her voice softened. "If the Syrinx falls into the wrong hands." Yeah, it's a weapon. "You mentioned." I pulled free. "Relax. I've binge-watched enough spy shows to know the drill." But as I stepped into the night, my phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Lab's been breached. Whatever you're involved in, run." Above me, a streak of light cut through the clouds. Not a shooting star. Something metallic. And getting closer. The metallic streak split the clouds, a jagged silhouette blotting out the stars. I sprinted back into the garage, phone clutched in my trembling hand. "We've got company." Vera stood rigid, her gaze locked on the skylight. The cry laugh. "They've tracked the Syrinx's energy spikes. Your fan club's early." I snapped, shoving my phone in her face. Marcus's text glared back. "Lab breached. Run." "Care to explain why my co-worker's panicking about your crystal?" She batted the phone away. "The Syrinx doesn't just power ships. It can amplify weapons." Yarrick huddled under the laptop table, clutching the Tupperware. "Mama used it to smash a moon once." "Yarrick." Vera's voice could have frozen lava. I gaped. "You brought a moon crusher to Earth?" "Lady, you're worse than my ex." The ship's lights flickered red. Vera staggered to the control panel, her fingers dancing over alien keys. "We need to reach your lab. Now, with them on our tail." I pointed upward as the metallic shadow circled downtown. "They'll vaporize us before we hit the highway. Not if we mask the Syrinx's signature." She yanked a wire from the laptop, sparks flying. "Your nuclear core could stabilize it long enough to what? Blow up Chicago instead of just stealing my snacks." Yarrick tugged my sleeve. "Mama's good at fixing things. She rebuilt a quantum engine from space junk." "After I crashed it," Vera muttered. A low hum vibrated through the garage walls. Dust rained from the ceiling. "Decide, human," Vera barked. "Trust me, or die here." I stared at the Syrinx, its pulsing light through shadows like grasping hands. "If I get you into that lab, you'll ditch Earth afterward? No more trash stealing? No more moon smashing?" She placed a palm over her heart. "By the rings of Zolan." "Fine." I grabbed my keys. "But we're taking my car. Your spaceship screams vaporize me." Yarrick scrambled into the back seat of my Honda, knees bumping the headrest. "Do human vehicles always smell like old fries?" "Only the fun ones." I peeled out of the garage, rearview mirror flashing with unnatural light. "Vera, seatbelt." She frowned at the buckle. "Your safety rituals are quaint." A deafening crack split the air. The road ahead erupted in molten debris as a Krylath drone landed, its 6 insectoid legs carving trenches in asphalt. "Drive faster." Yarrick squealed. "Working on it." I swerved into an alley, dumpsters screeching against the doors. "Call your dog off, Vera." She rolled down the window, wind whipping her silver hair. "The Syrinx, give it to me. Are you nuts?" I gripped the wheel tighter. "Do it." I tossed the crystal. She caught it, then did the unthinkable, leaned out the window and screamed at the drone. Not in English, not in any language. The sound vibrated my fillings. The Syrinx flared. The drone's legs buckled. "Left turn," Vera ordered. "That's a wall. Trust me." I yanked the wheel. The wall rippled like water, and we shot through into the lab's parking lot. Marcus stood by the entrance, coffee cup dangling from his slack jaw. "Sloan? What the hell?" "Code, red override." I shouted. vaulting from the car. "You said to run, but here's the thing. I hate cardio." He blocked the door, eyes narrowing at Vera. "Who's the cosplayer? Future Empress of You're fired if you don't move." I shoved past him, hurting Vera and Yerrick inside. The lab's core hummed ahead, a massive reactor behind blast-proof glass. Vera pressed against it, breath fogging the surface. "This might hurt." "How much?" I asked. She smiled grimly. "Ever been struck by lightning?" The syrinx flashed. The reactor flared, and every light in Chicago went out. The lab's emergency lights bathed everything in blood-red haze. Alarms wailed like dying animals. Marcus slammed his fist against the dead reactor console. "You fry the grid, Sloan. Half the city's dark. Blame her space rock." I shot back, nodding at Vera. She knelt by the syrinx, which now glowed like a miniature sun, her hands trembling above it. Yerrick hovered nearby, clutching a fire extinguisher. "Is Mama okay?" "Peachy," Vera gritted out. Sweat dripped off her chin, sizzling where it hit the crystal. "The syrinx, it's hungry." Marcus paced, raking fingers through his messy curls. "Hungry? Lady, it just ate Chicago's power bill. What's next?" Chewing through the Great Lakes. A metallic screech tore through the walls. The ceiling rattled, dust snowing down. "They're here," Vera whispered. "Who's?" Marcus started. "Think T-Rex meets Terminator," I said, dragging him toward the exit. Yerrick grabbed the crystal. "Don't touch it directly," Vera warned. The resonance could, too late. Jarrick's fingers brushed the syrinx. A shockwave pulsed outward, shattering every light bulb in the lab. "Oops." Marcus gaped at the sparks raining down. "I don't get paid enough for this." Another screech, closer now. Vera staggered upright. "We need to disperse the syrinx's energy. If the Krylath sense its full power, Earth becomes space target practice." I finished. "Any bright ideas?" She pointed to the lab's towering microwave array. "Channel the excess there. Use it as a distraction beacon." Marcus blocked her path. "That array's calibrated for fusion research. You'll turn it into a cosmic barbecue grill." "Got a better plan, Mr. I wrote the safety manual." I challenged. He hesitated, then cursed. "Fine, but if we live through this, you're buying me a lifetime supply of beer." We scrambled to rig the array, Vera directing while I spliced wires. "Green cable to the flux capacitor," she ordered. "It's called a transducer," Marcus snapped. "Your primitive labels offend me." Yerrick crouched under a desk, peeking at schematics. "Mama, the phase modulator's polarity is reversed." Vera paused. "He's correct. Kid's 7 and knows quantum mechanics." Marcus muttered, "I'm in the wrong species." The wall exploded. Chunks of concrete flew as a Krylath warrior clawed through. 8 feet tall, with serrated mandibles dripping acid. Its molten eyes locked on the syrinx. "Lights!" Vera screamed. Marcus hit the array's switch. A beam of syrinx energy lanced upward, piercing the roof, swirling with stolen starlight. The Krylath roared, torn between chasing us and the false beacon. "Now!" I grabbed Yerrick. "Back to the car." Vera faltered, her suit's glow dimming. "Go without me." "Not a chance, Your Highness." I slung her arm over my shoulder. "You still owe me $5 for those protein bars." We burst into the parking lot to find 3 more Krylath closing in. Their leader hissed, a sound like grinding glaciers. The syrinx, or their bones become soup. Marcus backed against the Honda. "Anyone got a spare nuke?" Yerrick suddenly darted forward, syrinx in hand. "Eat light, ugly." "Yerrick, no." Vera lunged. The crystal flared. The Krylath shrieked as their armor melted. But the syrinx's glow sputtered, then died. Silence. Yerrick stared at the dead crystal. "Mama? Why won't it?" Vera's face went ash gray. "I told you not to touch it." A hairline crack split the syrinx's surface. The crack in the syrinx hissed like a venomous snake, tendrils of shadowy smoke curling upward. Vera recoiled, clutching her chest. No, it's free. Free what? I grabbed Jarek's shoulder, pulling him back as the smoke thickened. Talk fast, your majesty. The Syrinx wasn't just a weapon, Vera gasped. It was a prison. I bound him there. Zaleth, the devourer of the Krylaf leader, suddenly dropped to his knees, claws clattering against asphalt. It hit a god-killer in a battery. His molten voice trembled. Marcus edged toward the car. I don't know what's scarier, the glowy smoke or the fact he's scared. The shadow coalesced into a humanoid figure, featureless except for twin voids where eyes should be. It turned its head toward Jarek. Child, the voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. You woke me. Vera shoved Jarek behind her. Run. Now. The Krylaf scrambled backward, hissing orders in their guttural tongue. Two warriors lunged at Zaleth and dissolved mid-leap, their screams cut short. Okay, new plan. I yanked open the Honda's door. Everybody in. Jarek clung to the Syrinx, its crack widening. But Mama, she's linked to it. If Zaleth breaks free. Vera slumped in the passenger seat, her suit's glow fading to a dull ember. Drive to Lake Michigan. Water disrupts his form. Marcus crammed into the back with Jarek. Why do aliens always pick our planet for their drama? Zaleth's shadow stretched across the parking lot, swallowing streetlights. The Honda's engine roared as I floored it. Vera, how do we reseal him? Same way I did before, she whispered. A living host and a sacrifice. The temperature plummeted. Frost spiderwebbed across the windshield. Sloan. Marcus pointed at the rearview mirror. Zaleth floated behind us, his shadowy form rippling like oil on water. You cannot outrun entropy, he boomed. A traffic light ahead crumpled like foil. I swerved on a lakeshore drive, the lake's black expanse churning to our right. Vera, the sacrifice, what does that mean? She didn't answer. Jarek shook her shoulder. Mama, stay awake. Marcus fumbled with his phone. I'm calling the National Guard. Or Ghostbusters. Whoever's closer. No signals, Zaleth intoned. The phone disintegrated into ash. Jarek suddenly lunged forward, pressing the cracked Syrinx to Vera's chest. Take it back. Please. The crystal flared, but this time, the light was sickly, green-tinged. Vera's eyes flew open, now pitch black. You should have left us to starve, she hissed in Zaleth's voice. The Honda veered toward the guardrail. I wrestled the wheel, tires screeching. Vera, fight him. Her hands clawed at the dashboard, human nails tearing into metal. Weak flesh. Jarek pressed his forehead to hers, tears glowing like liquid amethyst. Mama, it's me. Remember our song? The lullaby of the twin moons. A shudder ran through her. The blackness receded from one eye. Jarek, the rift, open the rift. Marcus spotted the glowing Syrinx crack. Kid, toss it here. No. Vera and Zaleth shouted in unison. Too late. Jarek hurled the crystal. Marcus caught it and screamed as shadows engulfed his arm. Zaleth's form wavered. Fool, you'll both be consumed. Consume this. Marcus chucked the Syrinx into the lake. The explosion of light and shadow threw the car sideways. Water geysered skyward, frozen instantly into jagged spears. When the spray cleared, Zaleth was gone. Vera collapsed, breathing ragged. The Syrinx floated ashore, crack sealed, but now pulsing with a slow, ominous rhythm. Marcus cradled his blackened hand. Remind me why I didn't major in accounting? Jarek touched the Syrinx, now cold and silent. Mama, did we win? Vera stared at the lake. We delayed him, but the Syrinx is damaged. Next time, my phone buzzed. A news alert. Mysterious blackout solved? Government announces alien tech recovery team. I showed Vera the screen. Worse than Krylaf. She closed her eyes. Far worse. Your leaders will weaponize the Syrinx, and Zaleth will feast. The crystal pulsed once, faintly, like a heartbeat. The safe house was a cramped boathouse reeking of old fish and regret. Marcus slumped on a moldy couch, his bandaged hand oozing black ichor. If my arm falls off, I'm billing you for the prosthetics. Added to my tab, I muttered, peering through cracked blinds. Government SUVs prowled the marina, agents scanning docks with thermal cameras. Vera, how long till Zalith is back? She huddled by the space heater, her suit's glow reduced to faint embers. Hours. Days. The Syrinx. She touched the crystal, now encased in a makeshift lead box. It's a countdown timer. Yerrick stirred a pot of ramen on a hot plate. Mama, eat something. Please. She pushed the bowl away. It won't help. I can help, Marcus said. If someone explains why my veins look like a printer cartridge exploded. Vera hesitated. When you touched the Syrinx, you became a conduit. Zalitha's poison flows through you now. Cool. So I'm basically a human USB drive for Satan. More like a fuse, I said. The nearest SUV stopped outside, and we're running out of gunfire erupted. Not from outside, above. A Krylath dropship tore through the roof, claws snatching the lead box. The Syrinx. Yerrick leaped, grabbing the box's handle. The ship lifted him, kicking into the air. Yerrick, Vera screamed, her voice raw. Marcus tackled me as the Krylath leader fired. A plasma bolt vaporized the hot plate. Priorities Sloan, kid first, crystal later. We burst onto the pier. The dropship hovered over Lake Michigan, Yerrick dangling 30 feet above churning waves. Vera pressed her palms together. I need a current. Now. Lady, I don't control the weather. The Syrinx does. She plunged into the water. The lake erupted. A waterspout shot upward, slamming the dropship. Yerrick fell into Vera's waiting arms. They crashed onto a fishing boat, the Syrinx tumbling into the open. The Krylath leader descended, mandibles clicking. Fools! You think you can? Vera grabbed the Syrinx. I think. I'm done running. The crystal flared. Not light sound. A high-pitched whine shattered every window on the pier. The Krylath clutched their heads, screeching. Marcus staggered. Make it stop. Can't. I yelled over the din. She's overloading the Syrinx. Vera met my eyes across the chaos. Take Yerrick. No. He clung to her. You can't. She kissed his forehead. Be brave, little star. The Syrinx's crack reopened. Zalitha's shadowy form erupted, engulfing Vera. Foolish queen, he boomed. You sacrifice yourself for insects. Vera's voice echoed through the smoke. No, for family. The explosion blinded me. When the spots cleared, Vera and Zalith were gone. The Syrinx lay intact on the deck, but Vera's cobalt suit floated empty in the water. Yerrick screamed. The government agents chose that moment to swarm the pier. Hands up. That crystal is federal property. Marcus grabbed the Syrinx. Eat plasma suits. He hurled it, not at the agents, but at me. I fumbled the catch. The crystal clicked against my palm and fused to my skin. Oops. Energy surged through me. The lake rose in a wall behind the agents. Back off. They opened fire. The water wall froze into ice shards, deflecting bullets. Yerrick tugged my arm. Sloan, your eyes. My reflection in a car window showed them glowing violet. Well, that's new. Marcus scooped up Yerrick. New plan. Alien-powered lady goes BRR. We go vroom. We ran. Really ran. The Syrinx's pulse matched my heartbeat now. Vera's final words whispering in my skull. Protect them. Protect them all. But as we vanished into the city's neon jungle, I felt it. The tiniest push against my thoughts. Not Zalith. Vera. The abandoned subway tunnel reeked of urine and burnt wiring. Marcus slumped against a graffiti-covered wall, his blackened hand now creeping past his elbow. Remind me again why we're hiding in Gotham City's armpit. Because I glared at the Syrinx fused in my palm, decided playing hot potato with an alien nuke was smart. Yerrick poked a rat with a stick. It glowed faintly violet before scurrying away. Your powers are leaking. Gee, thanks, kid. Got any more obvious observations? Footsteps echoed down the tunnel. Laser sights danced over the walls. Feds found us. Marcus groaned. Plan C. I flexed my Syrinx hand. How's angry space goddess for Plan C? Sloan. Vera's voice whispered from the crystal. Let me help. The agents rounded the corner, rifles raised. Hand where we can see them. Now. I stepped forward, the Syrinx flaring. You've got 3 seconds to walk away. Their leader sneered. Or what? You'll cry sparkly tears. Or I'll reintroduce you to my friend. I closed my eyes. Vera, light him up. The Syrinx pulsed. Violet energy ripped through the tunnel, lifting me off the ground. The agent's guns melted into slag. What the hell are you? One screamed. Still figuring that out. I landed lightly, the Syrinx humming. Run home, boys. Tell your bosses the Syrinx is done being a weapon. They fled. Marcus whistled. Remind me never to steal your fries again. Yerrick touched the crystal. Mama's still in there, isn't she? A warmth spread through the Syrinx. Always, Vera's voice sighed. Marcus's corrupted arm suddenly spasmed. Black veins snaked toward his shoulder. Guys? Clock's ticking. Vera's glow intensified. The poison needs a host, but it requires consent. Yerrick paled. You want someone to volunteer? I stare at Marcus's arm, at the Syrinx, at Jarrek's tear-streaked face. Vera, can you transfer it to me? No. Yerrick and Marcus shouted. You would die, Vera warned. Not if you help. I pressed the Syrinx to Marcus's arm. You're in the crystal. I'm linked to it. Teamwork, right? The tunnel shook. Dust rained down as Vera's voice merged with mine. Hold on. Agony. Like drinking a volcano. Marcus's corruption flowed into me and met Vera's light. The Syrinx screamed, cracks spreading. Slow down. Yerrick yelled. Can't. I gritted out. The Syrinx's surface split, shadows coiling out. Zalatha's laugh echoed. You only delayed the inevitable, he hissed. Vera's presence surged. Not today. With a sound like shattering glass, the corruption snapped. Marcus collapsed, his arm clean. The Syrinx's cracks sealed, except one. A wisp of shadow escaped. Yerrick stomped it. And stay out. I slumped against the wall, drenched in sweat. The Syrinx dimmed to a gentle pulse. Vera, you still with me? A faint warmth brushed my mind. Always. But the crack. Marcus sat up, flexing his fingers. So we got a teeny tiny apocalypse brewing in your hand. Cool. Yerrick hugged me, his tiny frame shaking. We'll fix it. Together. I stood, pulling them both up. First, let's get Marcus a burger. Then, I glanced at the Syrinx's faint shadow. We find others like us. People who know aliens aren't just tabloid jokes. As we emerged into dawn's light, a familiar silver spaceship descended. Krylath's symbols covered its hull, but the warrior who emerged removed his helmet. Queen Vera's allies have been searching for her, he rumbled. The Syrinx's song reached us. Yerrick stepped forward. You knew Mama? The warrior knelt. We served her, and we've come to serve you, if you'll lead us. Marcus snorted. Kid's 12. I'm 8. I squeezed the Syrinx. Vera's warmth pulsed back. All right, universe, I muttered. Let's dance. But as the ship's ramp lowered, the crack in the Syrinx flickered. Somewhere, Zalath laughed. Here, is the story ends. If you enjoyed and want to watch more thrilling sci-fi adventures, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Dive into epic battles, explore distant galaxies, and join brave heroes as they fight for survival against impossible odds. Let us know in comments if you want next chapters to publish soon. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and become part of the journey. Together, we'll keep the last light burning. Subscribe now and let the adventure continue.